The XRP price chart is gearing up for its next big move, and in this video, I want to cover both the long and short-term time frames on the XRP price chart so you guys know exactly what you should be looking for. Right now, we are in a very interesting, unprecedented time for XRP, and in my opinion, it's extremely bullish on both the shorter and longer-term time frames. In this video, I want to take a look at those charts with you guys and really let you guys know what I'm paying attention to because there's one big thing yet to happen that I think is going to cause the entire market to take off to brand new all-time highs. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start out this video and just quickly cover a couple macro things that we need to be paying attention to, and whether people like it or not, this is the kind of stuff that is absolutely critical to the future direction of the market. Obviously, recently in XRP and the entire cryptocurrency market, we've had a pretty big dip, and a lot of that came off of Middle East fears. Now, it seems like so far the United States has been able to stay out of a lot of the major conflict. In my opinion, if they didn't get involved in a big way already, they're probably not going to get involved in any kind of major way that's going to shake up the market. The market seems to be shaking off a lot of the catalysts we saw the other day, and almost exactly as we talked about in the video where I was breaking down the initial onset of those catalysts, we're kind of just moving past it already. Now, in terms of big catalysts on the macro scale and for the entire market in general, outside of just crypto, outside of just XRP, just the general market, things look really, really good, believe it or not. I mean, we're at good growth for the United States. That's very important when it comes to sentiment in the market for the more macro investors. And we also are entering into a time period where a lot of the inflation fears have really gone away. We've been in a time of very hard money for the last couple of years, and despite that, investments have still gone up a pretty decent amount. As we've seen, XRP and the entire cryptocurrency market is performing despite the fact that typically investments like crypto don't perform well in a hard money environment. For those of you who don't know what hard money or soft money means, it essentially just means how high are interest rates. When interest rates are really high, which they are right now historically, people say, I'm not going to take the risk of investing my money in the market. I'll just go get 5%, right? Why not? If you're getting 5% on a couple $1 billion, you're sitting pretty. But if you're only getting 0.2%, if you're getting 1%, even if you're getting 1.5% to 2%, people are more willing to go into the market and take risk. So right now we're in a very high interest rate environment. And because of that, people are holding money on the sidelines. They're saying, look, I'm just going to hold my money in a money market fund, get 5%, and boom, I'm chilling. But if interest rates were to drop, the entire equation would change. Now, that begs the question, why would interest rates drop? Well, essentially what we're seeing right now is a couple months ago and close to a year ago now, inflation was running at 11%. Since then, now inflation is down to 2.2%. The Federal Reserve makes it so inflation goes down doing one simple thing, bringing interest rates up. Because inflation has now gone away, the Federal Reserve is now entering a position where they can bring interest rates back down, making money easier, enticing more investments, and more money will flow into the cryptocurrency market. For those of you who just listened to all of that and said, what the heck did that guy just say? Just think of this. High inflation equals high interest rates. Interest rates being higher slows down inflation. Because inflation is now back to normal, interest rates can come down. High interest rates are bad for markets, low interest rates are good for markets. It's really that simple. There's always nuance to this scenario. There's always things that can happen in between that kind of shake up that general formula. But in general, the point is that the cryptocurrency market has performed very well, despite the fact that the interest rate environment has not been conducive to it. Imagine what happens if we get into a more conducive interest rate environment. Not only is the inflation data supporting the fact that the Fed can make it a more investment-friendly environment by lowering interest rates, but as we all know, Trump and the entire administration want interest rates lower as well. Why? Because cheaper interest rates makes more investment dollars go around, more growth, everyone's happy, things are pumping. Typically, high interest rates are used when things are getting a little sketchy, things need to slow down, or a problem needs to be fixed. So overall, it does seem like we're going into that low interest rate environment. And I know we haven't talked about any charts yet, but this is all very important things to the overall narrative. Because right now the cryptocurrency market is doing very well, despite the fact that we're not in an environment that's usually conducive to cryptocurrencies doing well. Well, all that said, I want to take a look at a couple charts. The first chart I want to take a look at is the total market cap for altcoins right now. Now, as you can see right now, we are at a very, very powerful historic point. Pretty much whenever we've touched this trend line, we've gone parabolic against this trend. Right now, as we can see, we are right up against this bottom line, this support line that has historically been the low point for the altcoin market. Now, in my opinion, does this mean altcoins are just going to magically go up because they hit this line? No, absolutely not. But it shows that the entire altcoin market, right, is not in any kind of overvalued territory. Right now, the entire altcoin market is sitting in a place where typically over the past, it's been a historical bottom. This has really been the lowest valuation for altcoins we really see. Now, if we're to take a look at XRP specifically, let's see if XRP is telling us something that will let us think, hey, well, XRP looks like it's going to be positive, helping altcoins lift off that bottom support line. Take a look at XRP right here. We're in this very large consolidation pattern right here. This is multiple months. Now, this is a very typical formation for XRP. I always like to tell people there's no magic lines involved. What we're looking at is the lows are getting higher and the highs are getting lower. This causes price to squeeze, and typically for XRP is followed by massive volatility. Now, you can point to a lot of different catalysts coming for XRP, whether or not it's the finalization of the Ripple SEC case, whether or not it's the ETFs. There's a million different things we can point to here. But the simple fact that Bitcoin maxis were wrong in the entire market being Bitcoin, and the largest financial institutions on earth are now looking to create stablecoins on blockchains like the XRP ledger, should let you know that with the stablecoin bill just being passed, we're likely about to see a lot of movement in institutional adoption of these different networks. And it's not going to happen on Bitcoin, right? It's going to happen on the networks that can actually support tokenized assets and stablecoins. The XRP ledger was built from that from the start. And not only is Ripple connected with all the large financial institutions, but the XRP ledger is actually built properly to handle these kinds of issued assets and is fast and efficient. And as we know, a million different things going on in terms of being a very positive environment for institutions to build out these networks. So with all that coming around the corner, right, and all these positive catalysts and the United States being pro-crypto, it's pretty easy for me to see that when XRP finally squeezes in this pattern right here, right, when there's finally no more lower highs to be made and no more higher lows to be made because we've just squeezed to the end of this thing, I believe that moment of volatility will be to the upside. It goes alongside what we're seeing on the total altcoin chart. It looks like all altcoins have bottomed out, and XRP's price is being squeezed with all these positive catalysts coming around the corner. And just keep in mind, like we talked about earlier, right? There's also big macro things going on that could lead to a lot more money coming into assets like cryptocurrency because people are going to be looking for ways to get a return on their dollar. Now, if we're to take a look at a longer term time frame for XRP, what we can see is this chart is just nothing short of beautiful. This is one of the best charts you can ever get. We have XRP on a multi-year time frame consolidating on top of both these previous highs with monthly candles. This is like as strong as support as you can possibly get. We have XRP consolidating on top of monthly candles above its previous all-time highs. So for me, this is just another extremely bullish indicator that support is being made and that next move is going to be to the upside. And just drawing this small little candle up here, just a theoretical example, that already puts us at a $10 XRP. So I don't think a $10 XRP is anything that's like the maximum possible scenario. I think it's very easy to see how XRP could make a leg up here fairly quickly after consolidating on these previous highs for the last couple months. It's an extremely bullish chart. And once again, plays into the fact that, hey, the market is looking to go higher. We're sitting at a point right now where the total altcoin market looks to be bottomed out. XRP is in this condensed pattern that typically leads to large volatility, and all the catalysts are aligning to a positive move when that volatility comes in. A couple more charts to take a quick look at just to continue building this thesis. What we're looking at right here is the XRP to Bitcoin chart. What we can see is XRP is currently consolidating against Bitcoin on another support, right? This is a multi-year time frame support right here that for the longest time XRP couldn't break. XRP just flipped this support and is now finding it on top of these previous yearly levels. Another good sign, right? In conjunction with that altcoin chart we looked at, that altcoins have kind of bottomed out against Bitcoin here, and we're likely in a position now moving forward where we're going to see the altcoin market move up against Bitcoin. For the longest time, Bitcoin was seen as the only cryptocurrency institutions could get into, right? There's the Bitcoin ETF, there's all this treasury stuff going on. But now it seems like institutions are opening their mind to some of these other cryptocurrencies. We see a large amount of XRP ETFs coming across the finish line late summer, early fall, as well as we likely see a lot more treasury companies popping up holding XRP as a strategic reserve asset. These are all things that lead to the institutional adoption and purchasing of XRP and leads to larger and larger volumes and more net inflows for the asset. This chart, it goes along perfectly with the narrative. The longest time, it seemed like it was just Bitcoin, and then out of nowhere, suddenly all these altcoins are getting more attention and being legitimized with different legislation, different products, and different levels of institutional adoption. And now the trend is flipping against Bitcoin. And for a while, we've seen these altcoins now showing strength against Bitcoin. We're consolidating right now, but as we talked about, all the catalysts seem to be leading to this continue to play out. Now, I did say there was one thing that was holding us back, one thing that really we need to see change up if we are going to see things like XRP appreciate moving forward. And that big thing right now is the Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance chart over the long run clearly shows that this market is moving towards a Bitcoin dominance, in my opinion, below 20%. This is only going to continue to go down for all the reasons we talked about earlier. Financial institutions are not just interested in Bitcoin. They want to do issued assets. They want the advanced features of blockchain technology to revolutionize their investment products. They want to be able to move money fast. They want to be able to tokenize assets. They want to get involved in DeFi lending, all these different things. I promise you, financial institutions want to do that. It's not happening on Bitcoin. Eventually, all this value is going to flow to all these other chains, and Bitcoin will still be a very important asset in the market, but it's not going to be sitting anywhere near 60% because all the financial institutions are not going to be doing all their activities on Bitcoin. Bitcoin can't even do it, and nor does Bitcoin want to do it. So it's going to happen on other chains. Naturally, Bitcoin dominance is going to fall. Right now, for whatever reason, mostly because a lot of the Bitcoin propaganda, Bitcoin against XRP and the rest of the cryptocurrency market has been in this massive uptrend. But what you're seeing right now, in my opinion, is a very good sign that this might be ready to roll over. As you can see, Bitcoin is still putting in green candles against the rest of the market, but it looks like to me we are getting ready for some kind of rollover event. We are waiting for Bitcoin to crash out of this trend. Been in this trend for a very long time. This is the catalyst we've been waiting for. Bitcoin falling out of here and the rest of the market appreciating against Bitcoin. There's going to be some kind of catalyst to kick this off. There always is. It seems like Bitcoin dominance is going on forever. All the Bitcoin maxis running around saying Bitcoin dominance is going to 100%. Clearly, that's not happening based off the fundamentals, and the charts seem to be telling us that this is weakening as well. If we can get some red candles coming in here and we can see Bitcoin dominance start crashing, that's going to be the thing to kick everything off. And it aligns with everything else we're seeing. Right now, we're seeing XRP consolidating on the shorter time frame, all the positive catalysts making us think it's to the upside. We see the monthly chart consolidating on those previous all-time highs in an extremely strong way. All while the altcoin market seems to be bottoming out on that previous support, signifying that the next direction for the altcoin market is upward. XRP included in that, with the XRP price formations, with Bitcoin rolling over, and with the positive macro catalyst we talked about earlier, it just seems like everything's lining up perfectly to get that next big leg in the market. Like I said, there's a lot of things that could derail this on the macro level. War, different things with inflation. But when it comes down to where we sit right now, it seems like an opportune time for the market to take that next leg up. And now we're just waiting for that next big wave. In my opinion, we're closer to that than ever. And I think we're likely going to see that in the next coming months. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. And for now, Mickle out.